The Common Ground World competition happening on October 1st, 2024 will feature the banana bread meta. The craft requirements for the banana bread are 3 banana, 3 flour, 1 sugar, 1 butter, and 2 eggs. It is crafted in the bakery with the fastest craft time of 60 seconds. For this competition, the banana bread will give 30,000 stars for each one sold, but will give less cash than usual as a cash nerf. The trade time for this competition is 40 seconds with a 1 gasoline cost per trade. The starting layout provided for this competition is a desert biome facing south with an ocean on the north side and an ocean on the east side. You start with 2 wheat fields which will need water supplied to them, a farmhouse to water and collect the wheat, a silo to store the wheat in, a few tree farms, a lumberjack to collect the wood, a feed mill, a trough to store the feed in, a milk barn, and a storehouse to store the milk in. You also have a warehouse, 2 water pumps, 3 paved roads, and an oil seep to provide up to 4 passive crude oil and an extra fuel storage. In addition, there are 3 rows of spoiled soil at the top which can be cleared for a cost. Each row has a set price for each tile on that row. Clearing all the spoiled soil will cost a total of 5.1 million. A good way to collect the cash you need for this competition is to sell milk, and it is preferred that you place a lot of meadows near the milk barns so they can feed on them quicker. Don't forget to have at least 3 passive water for the milk barns. The cash boosts for this competition are milk from 4,000 to 8,000 and butter from 20,000 to 50,000. Remember that banana bread will give less cash for this competition, going from 34,900 to 15,000. The rewards for this competition are the standard Gala rewards for reaching the top 1,200 placements in the leaderboard by the time the competition ends. Rewards are usually distributed directly to your account within 5 days. This is the banana bread design I created for this upcoming competition. It's doing 76 banana bread per hour, but that's not actually true. It should be 75 banana bread. I had a few extra butter before I started this test, that's why it's showing 76. Look at the butter rate, it is 75 per hour. I'm gonna scroll through the production monitor so you can see the production rates of everything. The only item I will point out is salt, because that is the bottleneck at 150 per hour. Each banana bread requires a butter, and each butter requires 2 salt. That's why I'm making 75 butter, which is enough for 75 banana bread. Now, no NFTs are required in order to reach this production rates. There is a way to improve it a little bit more, which I'll talk about closer to the end of the video. Now I'm going to break down all the crafting processes, starting with salt, flour, and sugar. There are 8 logger houses in charge of picking up wood from the 15 tree farms. 2 of the tree farms are on a red craft timer because they are being negatively impacted by pretty much everything right here. And 1 of the tree farms is on a yellow craft timer. It's being impacted by 1 shade from this windmill. All the other tree farms are on a green craft timer. That means they're not negatively impacted by anything, so they're able to craft at their fastest craft time. I have 9 tractors in charge of picking up all the crops. I have 7 salt fields. These are right next to the North Ocean edge, so they have at least the 3 passive salty that they need in order to craft brine at the fastest craft timer. Of course, they all have the 3 passive water that they need from the nearby ponds here. I have 4 wheat fields, 4 sugarcane fields, 3 silos. These 2 should pretty much store all of the sugarcane, wheat, and bananas, and the silo on the north side should only be storing brine. I have 25 windmills in total. 4 of them are crafting salt on a green craft timer. Those are the ones that are touching the North Ocean edge. 6 of the windmills are crafting flour on a green craft timer. 5 of them are found on the west side, and 1 is found on the southeast side over here. And the rest of the windmills, which are 15 of them, are crafting sugar on a red craft timer. So there is an impressive 10 windmills in this design, all on a green craft timer because they're not being negatively impacted by shade. And closer to where the crops are, I have 4 storehouses to store all the goods in. The storehouses only cast 1 shade, so it's convenient to have them closer to the crops where they won't cast any shade on them. Now for egg and milk production, I have 4 ATVs in charge of picking up eggs from the 3 chicken coops and milk from the 7 milk barns. Notice how I have the milk barns rotated so that the cows can easily go to the closest meadows. This is the more efficient way of getting them fed and increasing your milk production. I also have these 3 ponds right here to give the 3 passive water required for all 7 of these milk barns, and the milk barns are positioned in this exact spot so that they don't cast any shade on these nearby windmills. I have a total of 47 meadows for this setup. I believe it's a little too many meadows, but it gets the job done. And last but not least, banana bread. I have 7 bakeries. 3 of them are making butter. 4 of them are making banana bread. Now you might be able to get away with 1 less bakery. I didn't test that, but I'm just showing you what I have and what works for this design. And for the banana bread, of course, you need to make 3 bananas for each banana bread. I have 4 banana trees. 3 of them are on a green craft timer. They do need 6 water, and 1 of the banana trees is on a red craft timer. The gasoline setup is on the east side of the ocean. I did retain 1 of these water pumps. The other one, I removed it so I can build it 1 spot higher up, and I believe I did retain the paved roads that we started with, but I do have 2 water pumps, 2 power plants, a refinery in between them crafting gasoline, refinery to the side crafting petroleum. I do have an oil seep that supplies the passive crude oil required to craft petroleum, as well as crafting energy with these 2 power plants if desired. For the trade setup, I am using 1 trade depot on the southeast side. Now for the optional buildings and empty spaces, I have a lumber mill, of course, to craft the lumber that you need to build all the buildings. You don't need this in the end. Warehouse to store energy in, not required in the end. And a lumber yard to store your lumber and wood in, once again, not required in the end. If you do keep it, I suggest you jam it with lumber. You do not want wood being stored here. It will impact your windmill crafts. It may slow them down. Now this empty spot is actually supposed to be a builder house that you would dedicate to this spot while you're trying to build the last few things that you need. Now, of course, you also have the meadows. You could temporarily replace these for a bunch of builders, especially like in these spots where it won't impact any of the windmills. So you could do that as well. And these 10 spots I decided not to use. That way you don't actually have to clear that spoiled soil at the start. Remember that clearing the 3 rows of spoiled soil costs a total of 5.1 million. If you don't clear these 10 tiles, you're actually saving about 1.5 million. So the cost of clearing the other spoiled soil that you need to clear for this setup is only going to cost you 3.6 million. So it's easier to finish the design. Now, after a while, you're just going to end up with a bunch of cash anyway. So you might as well clear the spoiled soil. At this point, if you do want to utilize this space, I recommend that you put some ponds here next to the paved road, and next to the ocean you have some tree farms. Obviously they're going to be on a red craft timer because tree farms don't like shade. Tree farms don't like the saltiness of the ocean, but at least that way you are helping improve the wood production rates, and that will actually improve your banana bread rate further since you have more wood to supply to the windmills crafting salt. Here is what the auto cell looks like. I do have all the items at an auto cell quantity of 12 with the exception of banana bread, which is at 10. Here's what the build looks like on the visualizer. Total cost is 7.6 million to build. Remember that you have to clear spoiled soil, and like I mentioned, the necessary spoiled soil tiles that you have to clear in order to make this design work are going to cost you about 3.6 million. You do have other scrubs and cacti to clear, so on top of that, expect to spend a total of 11.5 million in order to clear and build everything that you see here. Wages are going to be 11,090 per minute, but you will have no issue paying the wages once you are finished with this design. Yes, even though there is a cash nerf, you are going to be making enough banana bread here in order to pay all of your wages and still remain cash positive. You can find the file for the visualizer in my Discord server, and an invite link is in the description. The banana bread and design is actually very similar to the baguette. This design was actually inspired by the upgraded baguette build showcase that I showed some time ago. go. It's not all that similar though, because this time we do have an oil seep, so we want the gasoline setup to be positioned in a specific area. And this time I decided to opt in for more green timer windmills. So I have a total of 10 green timer windmills on this, which is a lot. I usually don't make a build showcase with that many green timer windmills. As you can see here, this is why it's so beneficial to have green timer windmills, because it is more efficient. I do believe this build is very competitive, good for the next competition. It can be improved a little bit further, like I mentioned, going from 75 banana bread per hour to at least 79 banana bread per hour. All you need to do is just add a bit more wood production to this. This can be accomplished by adding the tree farms, like I mentioned, on the northwest tiles that were not used in this build showcase. There is another way to add another tree farm in exchange for a couple meadows. And of course, at the end of the day, if you do have the town hall NFT or some other NFT to help with the tree or wood craft times, then that will easily solve your problem. And in case you haven't heard, daily challenges and daily earning is coming back September 30th, 2024. I will have a video explaining what we know so far about this, and another video in the near future going more into detail about how much can you earn and how does it actually play out in the game. And I am going to run a couple of giveaways during the month of October as part of a 4,000 subscriber celebration / Halloween celebration, because we're basically in October already. It's time to celebrate Halloween, right? So if you haven't subscribed already, I really would appreciate it. And if you found this helpful or informative, of course, please leave a like, leave a comment if you have any feedback or questions. If you want to help support the channel, you can find links in the description on how to do so. And as always, I appreciate your support and thank you for watching.